Have you ever had a cold and thought, oh, I'd hate to have lived in the Middle Ages? Well, you'd be right, because medieval medicine was a strange mix of superstition, guesswork, and the occasional good idea. Doctors believed your health was controlled by bodily fluids called humours. Treatments included bloodletting, drinking ground up gemstones, and my own personal favourite, wearing a dead chicken around your neck to cure a cold, or even the Black Death. So today we're diving into the weird world of medieval medicine, what people believed, what they tried, and surprisingly, how some of it actually laid the foundations for modern healthcare. Let's start with the backbone of medieval medicine, the theory of the four humours. This idea goes all the way back to ancient Greece, with Hippocrates and later Galen. According to them, the human body was governed by four fluids: blood, linked to being cheerful; phlegm, calm but sluggish; yellow bile, angry and fiery; and black bile, sad and melancholic. If you got sick, doctors believed one of your humours was out of balance. So treatments weren't about targeting germs, they were about restoring the balance. How? Well, by draining fluids. Bloodletting was the go-to cure. Doctors used knives or leeches to remove blood, believing it would rebalance the body. For example, if you had a fever, they thought you had too much blood, so they took some out. Of course, if you were already weak, this made things worse. But for centuries, this was the medical gold standard. Now let's talk about the weirder side. Medieval medical recipes read like something out of a witch's cauldron. To cure epilepsy, one recipe suggested eating the heart of a mole. For toothaches, people recommended kissing a donkey. And for the plague, doctors sometimes advised drinking crushed emeralds mixed with wine. One of the most infamous remedies was the cure for a headache, to tie a dead chicken to your head. No, really. Of course, these weren't the only options. Herbal medicine was everywhere, and not all of it was nonsense. Plants like willow bark, which contained salicin, a natural painkiller like aspirin, actually worked. But these useful treatments were often mixed in with the bizarre. If you needed surgery in the Middle Ages, your doctor might not be a doctor at all, but a barber. That's right, the same person who cut your hair and shaved your beard might also set your broken leg or perform an amputation. That's why the classic barber's pole is red and white. The red symbolised blood and the white bandages. Without anaesthesia, surgeries were fast, brutal and often deadly. Patients were given alcohol or herbs like mandrake to dull the pain, but infection was a real killer. No one knew about germs yet, so instruments weren't sterilised. Still, some surgical techniques were surprisingly advanced. Doctors performed trepanning, drilling a hole into the skull to relieve pressure or let out evil spirits. Shockingly, some of the patients actually survived. The Black Death hit Europe in the 14th century, killing millions. And with it came some of the strangest medical ideas of all. Doctors in those beaked masks, the plague doctors we see in art, weren't just trying to look scary. Their masks were stuffed with herbs and flowers because people thought disease spread through bad air or miasma. Treatments for the plague included sitting between two roaring fires to burn out the infection, drinking potions made with ground up snakes, or, and this one's grim, applying a paste of human excrement to the buboes, the swollen lumps caused by the plague. But here's the twist, not all their responses were wrong. In places like Venice, officials invented quarantine, forcing ships to wait offshore for 40 days before docking. That idea, even though it wasn't based on germ theory, actually helped slow the spread. Religion shaped a lot of medieval medicine. Many people believed sickness was a punishment from God. That meant cures could involve prayer, pilgrimages, or touching holy relics. Astrology also played a big role. Doctors checked the alignment of the stars before performing surgeries or prescribing treatments. If Mars was in the wrong place, then you might have to wait to get your wounds stitched up. And then there were charms and amulets. People wore herbs, gems, or even animal parts around their necks to ward off illness. Think of it as the medieval version of alternative medicine. Now, it's easy to laugh at medieval medicine, but not everything was superstition. Herbalism gave us early versions of real medicines, like poppy plants for pain relief, morphine, and garlic for infections, which actually has antibacterial properties. Hospitals started appearing in the Middle Ages, often run by monasteries. They weren't like modern hospitals, but they provided shelter, food, and basic care. And the idea of observing symptoms and recording case studies gradually laid the groundwork for later medical science. So while a lot of medieval medicine sounds bizarre, it wasn't all nonsense. It was humanity's attempt to make sense of disease in a world before microscopes. So the next time you get a headache or reach for ibuprofen, be glad you're not in the Middle Ages. You'd probably be told to balance your humours, drink a gemstone smoothie, or wear a dead mole around your neck. But hidden beneath the weird remedies and superstition were the first steps towards modern medicine, and proof that, even in the strangest times, people were trying to understand the human body and make life a little less painful. Thanks for watching History of the World. Let us know in the comments which strange medieval remedy you'd never want to try. If you've learned something new, hit subscribe.